If there's one thing that is characterizing this government, it is the sheer the sheer amount of sleaze that is engulfing this current government. And it honestly feels like we have not gone a week without at least one or two things, new things, very often coming up out of the woodwork. That's how it feels about it. And just this past couple of days long, I think it was last Thursday or last Friday, it may have been, it was actually been 1 year since the Matt Hancock story of Matt Hancock being caught behind the door. And if you may remember at the time, we were talking about, well, who was the leaker behind that? And we put it, one of the suspects was Boris Johnson. There was others saying that it might have been Rishi Sunak. And there's a lot of people saying at the moment that the current story that is being heavily, shall we say, published in the private eye and talked about quite recently, that this may have been a leak by Hancock to get back at Johnson. So we've got a situation now where not only are we finding out about this stuff, but because of the secret Tory civil war going on, they are now, shall we say, on purpose, going to leak stuff to damage people's reputation and to, well, hopefully, shall we say, clear the way when it comes to, shall we say, their turn trying to get to the top of the greasy pole. Because currently at the top, there's Johnson, and he's running around like a greased piglet. And so far, no one's been able to catch him. But with other stories like the, hashtag Boris's Canadian hairdresser, possibly in the works, who knows what could be coming out in the next couple of weeks, or if not next week. So we're going to go over this article today because it just goes to show you the timeline and the amount of stuff that happens. And some of the stuff I've even forgotten about myself. And I thought, when I went over this, I thought, oh yeah, I remember that. But there's just so much stuff coming out, you forget about some of the other stuff that's emerged over the years. And not only just some of the big stuff that happened, but some of the small stuff as well. So I'm going to go over this because I think it just illustrates to you the sheer amount of sleaze that has gone on under Johnson's government. So today we're going to go over this and have a look at it. But before we go into that, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. So let's go over this timeline of sleaze, because I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable when you think about the amount of stuff being talked about here. So like I say, this comes from The Guardian with the title of Scandal After Scandal, the timeline of Tory sleaze under Boris Johnson. So this starts all the way back in the 25th of May, 2020. So this is the first one. So the 25th of May, 2020. Dominic Cummings refuses to resign or apologise after The Guardian and Mirror reveal his lockdown-busting trips to the northeast of England at the height of COVID-19. Johnson stands by his chief aide despite fury from the public, MPs and scientists. Then you move on to the 30th of July, 2020. Charlie Flick, I think that's how you say it, is found guilty of 3 counts of sexual assault against 2 women, less than a year after resigning as a Conservative MP for Dover. Flick had denied the 3 charges, 2 of which related to a parliamentary worker, and he was later sentenced to 2 years in prison. His wife, Natalie, has succeeded him as MP for Dover in December of 2019. 25th of May, 2021. Rob Roberts, the Conservative MP for Delham in North Wales, is found by Parliament's independent expert panel to have made, quote, significant and repeated unwanted sexual advances towards a former staff member. as well as inappropriate comments of a sexual nature. He is suspended for 12 weeks by the Conservatives, but allowed to rejoin the party in October of 2021. 28th of May 2021, Johnson unwisely embarked on a £112,000 refurbishment of his official Downing Street flat, which would, without knowing how it would be paid for. And according to a report by the ethics advisor Christopher Gelt, however, it later emerges that Gelt was not given the crucial text messages between Johnson and the Conservative Dover David Brownlow, prompting an apology from the Prime Minister. 26th of June 2021, Matt Hancock resigns as Health Secretary after it emerged he broke the social distancing rules by kissing his longtime friend and close aide, Gina Colorado. In their ministerial office, the resignation has a huge blow to the authority of Johnson, who stood by Hancock when the story broke on the 24 hours earlier. The 8th of July 2021, Johnson is reprimanded by Parliamentary Committee on Standards for failing to establish the full facts about a free holiday to a luxury villa in Mustinique, and the accommodation was organised by David Ross, the Tory donor and co-founder of Carphone Warehouse, after Johnson, quote, sought and was offered the use of Ross's villa, the report found. 26th of October 2021, former Tory Minister Owen Paterson is found by the Parliamentary Standards Watchdog to have committed an erroneous breach of lobbying rules. Paterson repeatedly lobbied the government on behalf of two companies that were paying him more than £100,000 a year, the watchdog found. The MP, who maintained his innocence, resigns as the Conservative representative for North Shropshire in November 2021, and the subsequent by-election is won by the Liberal Democrats on the 16th of December 2021. The 10th of December 2021, the former Conservative Minister Andrew Griffiths is found by a High Court judge to have raped his wife and subjected her to coercive control. Griffiths, who denied the allegations, has stepped down as an MP in November 2019 after a series of claims about his conduct. His wife, Cathy Griffiths, who left him when the original story broke, succeeded him as MP for Bolton in Staffordshire. The 18th of December 2021, Simon Case, the UK's most senior civil servant, steps down from chairing the investigation into the lockdown breaching parties in Downing Street after claims emerged he had hosted an event himself over that same period. The senior civil servant, Sue Gray, took over. The 6th of January 2022, Johnson is revealed to have sought funds to help cover the £120,000 makeover of his Downing Street flat from a Conservative donor while promising to consider plans for a, quote, great exhibition. Labour accuses the Prime Minister of corruption, while Johnson apologises for failing to disclose these crucial WhatsApp messages to his ethics advisor, Lord Gelt, the previous spring. The 2nd of April, 2022, David Warburton, I think that's how you say it, the Conservative MP for Somerset and Farmon, is suspended from the Tory party after a series of allegations relating to sexual harassment and cocaine use. An investigation by Westminster and the Independent Complaints and Grievance Committee is still ongoing as of the 1st of July. The 11th of April 2022, Imran Ahmad Khan, the Conservative MP for Wakefield, is found guilty of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy after plying him with alcohol at a party in 2008. He resigns as an MP on the 10th of April, triggering a by-election that Labour then wins on the 23rd of June. 29th of April 2022, Neil Parish, Conservative MP for Tiverton Houghton, resigns his seat after admitting that he twice watched pornography in the House of Commons chamber. His resignation prompts a by-election, and the result is a decisive Liberal Democrat win on the 23rd of June. The 17th of May 2022, another unnamed Conservative MP is arrested on suspicion of rape and other sexual offences. The MP, who has not been publicly named, is ordered to stay away from Westminster while under investigation by the Metropolitan Police. He remains on bail as of the 1st of July. So we still don't know who that is yet, but that's going to probably come into news very, very soon. Anyway, the 25th of May 2022, Sue Gray publishes a damning report into the lockdown busting parties across Whitehall, revealing that the government staff had drunken brawls, vomited and sang karaoke until dawn, and the UK observed the strict COVID-19 regulations on socialising. The Prime Minister says he's, quote, humbled and appalled, but critics doubt his contrition and calls for his resignation grow louder. And finally, up to currently this date, the 30th of June 2022. Chris Pincher, the Conservative Deputy Chief Whip, resigns after admitting he had, quote, embarrassed himself and it embarrassed myself and other people, following reports that he drunkenly groped two men at a private club. It is the second time, bear in mind, that Pincher has resigned from the Whip's office, having previously stood down in 2017 after it was reported he had made unwanted pass at a Tory activist. So that's just the stuff that we currently know. As you saw there, there's one case in particular. We still don't know who it was, but yeah, so this is just going to go on and on and on. And as you say, at the moment, we've got the case of sort of the obviously what Boris Johnson and Carrie did in the Foreign Office back when they found out he was his mistress, which again is suspected to be the finding out of that of Gavin Williamson, who apparently got a knighthood. Again, that is the current rumor going around. Whether that rumor pans out to be true or not, we don't know. So we have to add allegedly about that story in particular. And of course, we've got the hashtag Canadian hairdresser as well, which certainly is a rumor going around. And again, we don't know whether that's true or not. But at this point, given what you've got there, and probably more stuff to come, in a year's time, we could be adding several more events and dates to that timeline, almost certainly. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there is a link to my Patreon page and a motivation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.